la canción.
Just love the look of
Ting,
glistening
ting,
green
ting,
grass.
ting,
You know the green
ting.
I'm talking about.
El temazo, mira, escucha el temazo.
Moist with spring
Pim, 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 pim.
reflecting the radiance of the sun. In that regard, Louisiana's grass is in a class of its own. Just picture it. On a green
Esa es la banda sonora del 1, cosa que menos mal que la han metido porque me encanta.
gazing out from your porch onto the garden. You're so proud.
No sé quién está hablando, la verdad.
Doesn't get much better than this. That's how you feel. A well-kept garden and a cold
Pa,
wind.
para, pa, 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 pa,
Combination.
pa,
They go
pa,
hand in hand, just like hot dogs and sporting events. But that grass, it's got a bit of a nerve to it. It doesn't matter how many times you cut it down. It'll always keep coming back and turn your eyes away for a bit. And that's when it'll really sprout up. Up until last week, your garden was perfectly pruned and balanced, symmetrical and pristine.
Ay.
You wake up the next morning and you can't even stand to look at what it's become. That's why people work so hard to cut their grass. Like it's some deal they've been
Total,
tasked with.
Revelations. Es que es la parte 2 de Revelations, Melvin. Melvin, no, Merchi. Me he equivocado con el personaje del juego. Perdonadme, no estoy muy bien hoy, la verdad.
Grass, you need to either submit to its growth or force it to wither. That's all humans can really do. Hard work never really gets its picture. Nothing. Wasted efforts. You following me? Just be honest with yourself. Be honest, Francis.
Francis Zack Morgan. Este es Kaysen. Hijo de perra.
Oh, howdy, Zach.
¿Le veis? Puede viajar entre mundos. Y ese es el perrillo que seguimos antes. O sea, en el episodio del otro día.
Who was given up for adoption, finally reuniting with his true parents. Look, even little Willie here is beside himself with joy.
Kaysen!
Oh dear.
Damn it! I'm gonna kill you!
Bueno, pues este es el personaje antagonista.
Hey, let her go! What the hell's gotten into you?
Jeez, are you okay?
Y bueno. Bueno. Ya estamos llegando al final, chicos, que lo sepáis.
That should do it.
Respira, mujer, hombre.
Well, no turning back now. How should we clean this up?
I'm searching the room.
Ok. Vamos a ver el dormitorio. A ver, obviamente hay muchas cosas en la carrera y de Greenvale. Así que vamos a ver. Hay una ratilla muerta ahí. Ok.
Why did you come here, Aaliyah? Remember the real reason you decided to investigate Morgan's house in the first. We came here to find...
Ok. Vamos a ver.
Why do you think Jethro here survived?
Why?
I mean, doesn't he look like the kind of guy who'd die first?
Sí,
in a horror
totalmente.
movie?
He married into the Clarkson family. He didn't possess Clarkson blood,
Es verdad.
so
Pero
he
eras
had
el
nothing to
heredero.
do with Helena Doman's plan.
The blood purge thing? But if that was all there was to it, then Helena Doman wouldn't have killed anyone but Clarksons, right? Yet a ton of the Clarkson gang members died, along with Sheriff Woods. Doesn't add up.
She did whatever it took to achieve her goals.
A ver,
She'd
tenía que
kill
matar a
if the
los
plan
secuaces de su
required.
padre porque si no se le iban a matar a ella antes de completar el plan.
But killing people outside of the Clarkson family was
Exactamente.
never a priority. Her ultimate goal was to cut off the Clarkson bloodline. Maybe he was always meant to be an assistant to the goddess of fertility.
What, like a servant?
No.
He was the kind of person who was most in his element when he had someone to serve. Even afterwards, he let Patricia take over the estate. As soon as he settled into his role, the townspeople started to respect him. Now they practically revere him.
Claro.
And he's even earned himself a nickname.
Daniel Mann.
One-armed Danny.
Se comió su mano un caimán.
So you think his life played out exactly the way Professor R planned it to go? Talk about tragic.
Ah, bueno, Lina era la profesora R, ¿vale? Que se llama profesora R por lo de la droga de San Rouge, ¿ok?
I was so positive, but she isn't here. There is something about this room, though. Agent Jones, what do you...
Me? I'm not as smart as you. Why are you even asking me?
Are you hiding something?
Of course not. Knock it off. Me? Hiding something? Come on. I got nothing
Ahí
to
está el tambor
hide.
que nos dio el doctor.
This reveal why.
Bueno,
The one who took her in after the incident was Daniel Clarkson, the next in line to succeed the Clarkson family. He's the one that ended up raising her from that point onwards. Isn't fate strange?
joder, es que encima Dani ha perdido a todo el puto mundo, ¿sabes?
In the end, two people who were completely unrelated by blood ended up...
Yeah, you're right. But sometimes I wonder, what is family anyway?
La familia no es la que se da de sangre, la familia es la que siempre está ahí contigo.
Go back far enough, we're all strangers to one another. We're talking countless generations, marriages and births, you know.
Exactamente.
Humans love to deify the rules they create. It's almost like that's been an unwritten law from the very start.
¿Algo más? Vamos a ver las muñecas. Muy heavy todo.
Why did Lise have to die first? What is this?
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
Es una ardilla. Se llama ardilla. Suelen estar en los bosques y esas cosas. Vamos a ver a
If
Melvin.
you loved someone from the bottom of your heart,
Sí.
would you ever be able to marry someone else? Or kill for them?
Eso es una buena pregunta. Pero no quiero acabar en la cárcel. Hombre, y casarme con otra persona por su bien, pues hombre, si es por el bien de él, pues sí.
Whoa,
Pero matar
what are
no.
we talking about?
I never heard of any kind of motive like that in any other murder case. I just keep feeling like we're being fed a story that he made up in his mind.
True. Honestly, without having experienced what that's like, I can't really say what I'd do. But I'd never try and force love to happen, if it didn't seem like it was meant
Hombre,
to
eso
be.
seguro.
There are 3.5 billion women on this planet. There's got to be more than one specific person who anyone can fall deeply
Exactamente.
in love with, right?
But what if we were talking about pizza, not women? You just discovered the perfect ultimate pizza, but you aren't allowed to take even a single bite unless you kill someone for the cook.
Have you
Hostia.
ever loved someone with all your heart?
What kind of person are you
Hombre,
taking for?
si me dice mata esto y no estás conmigo, pues lo siento mucho. Te digo, pues mira, eres la mujer perfecta o el hombre perfecto, pero yo, si tú quieres matarle, tú le matas. Yo, no.
That's my line.
This room paints such a bizarre... But upon closer look, I can see some... Was Morgan trying to recreate something with... If so, there must be a reason for all of these weird and... Galena Clarkson went to California to become an actress, but things never took off for her, so Then she murdered her own daughter and ended up like this. Where did she go wrong?
She did manage to appear in a few movies, right?
Not as any characters with actual names, and never with much clothes on.
So that's the only value they saw in her, huh? Sorry, that was insensitive.
It's an everyday occurrence in that world. She was also
Sí.
bullied a lot.
Bullied? How?
They'd cut up her costumes, her scripts, and even her own clothes, everywhere she went. Then, after 3 years of that, her stylist chopped off a chunk of her hair.
Are you kidding me?
I did a little investigating on this. In the
Joder.
end, a self-titled Big Cheese producer tricked her. She almost ended up going into porn.
Not hard to imagine what would have happened after that.
Ya ves.
One witness said that after returning to Le Carré, she refused to use scissors to cut anything.
A ver.
When Helena Doman returned home, someone must have let her inside.
You think that was her brother-in-law, Daniel?
I don't know.
Well, alligators did chomp his arm off. He probably had it in for old man PJ too. But,
No.
you know, I don't think he had anything to do with this.
Why not?
You're making it out to be more complicated than it really is. That's always the problem with people like you. Too smart for your own good.
Just get to the point.
Professor R marched straight through the front door to the mansion. She arrived right at her destination using the quickest route possible without having to undergo a single security check.
I know. My question is,
Oye, pues
how
¿por
was
qué
she
la
able
hija?
to do that?
Because she's family.
Claro.
It doesn't matter if PJ disowned her. He never stopped loving his son. A father would never abandon his child, no matter how much they fail to fulfill his
Bueno, eso
expectations.
es cuestionable.
That's what being a parent is all about.
Eso es cuestionable.
Don't look at me like that. I know. I don't have a son myself, but I have a father. He's still back in my hometown, managing the printing plant my grandfather started. He'll be turning 80 soon. He wanted me to take over the place, but as you can see, I know how this whole thing works. Even though I haven't seen him in forever, the minute I go home, he'll welcome me with warm, open arms.
Ok, tengo que ver sí o sí los trofeos.
What's that?
A hunting trophy. A brown bear. With a dragonfly.
Hombre,
eye
representa
patch.
a JP Clarkson.
Why is it smoking a cigar?
O sea, PJ Clarkson.
It's probably supposed to represent Philip J. Clarkson's body.
Claro.
And the elk is?
Helena Doman.
So that's why it's got such good taste in fashion. And this one is Galena Clarkson?
Correcto. Cómo
Why did
acabaron
he want to
muertas.
line up corpses that were killed in different places, all together in a single room?
Para entender todo. Las semillas rojas.
Seeds?
Red seeds. Para hacer retreats.
You sure it's okay to press that?
Sí.
Won't know until we try.
Y ahora vais a ver la magia de la luz. En el suelo. The red tree.
Hey, it's Woodstock. Look,
Red
a
tree.
peace sign.
No es el símbolo de la paz, querido, es el red
Love and
tree.
peace, man. Even I can figure out what this is from. It's Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Grateful Dead, and Led Zeppelin. But I shouldn't have to explain it to a music nut like you.
That isn't a peace mark.
No,
It's upside down. You don't need to be a music nut to see that.
totalmente.
Who says that's the top part? If you're looking from Lisa's head, this is the top part, making it a big, fat key.
No, this is the ground.
Where's your proof?
En las semillas.
The red seeds. Seeds go in the ground, right? That makes this wall the bottom. Lisa's head is clearly at the top. Period.
Momento. Ya está, bebés.
Also, Agent Jones. Led Zeppelin never played at Woodstock.
Je.
He's representing a human with a hunting trophy made from an
The
animal.
Red Tree, provocado por Kaysen.
I
Ya lo
feel
sabéis.
like I'm looking at a piece of modern art done in really bad tape.
Greenvale. Ana
Anna
Graham.
The first victim of the Greenvale case. Her body was found hanging from a tree, like a goddess being worshipped in a sanctuary. Meanwhile, Lise Clarkson was found on the bank of a river in an area that had been fashioned into an altar. The person who gruesomely ended the life of that young woman.
I completely agree. They both still had their whole lives ahead of them.
The Le Carré case and the Greenvale case. According to my investigation, the one key that links both cases is Francis Zach Morgan.
Y las semillas rojas.
But if we look at the cases from his point of view, we see one more connection.
Las semillas
The
rojas.
red seeds are also present in both cases.
Exactamente. Por Kaysen,
I
que se las dio.
believe that he was the one who brought them to both towns. But maybe...
No, porque había árboles plantados.
No. Never mind.
Joder, ¿qué me queda por ver? Otra vez Daniel.
Sure seems like our friend Daniel here was just destined to suffer. He crossed the entire continent and married into the Clarkson family, all for the sake of the woman he loved. But then the love of his life became a drug addict and ended up murdering their very own daughter. And she too was murdered as part of her big brother's conspiracy. Finally, in order to prove that he
Es que
could
es muy
take
heavy.
responsibility for the family, he gave up his right arm to his father-in-law, who got blown to bits soon afterwards. And to add insult to injury, all the inheritance went to PJ's secret heir. If I had to go through all that, I'm pretty
Hombre,
sure
es una
I'd
historia
go
muy
crazy.
rara.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
He found someone he loved so much. He moved across the entire continent. It also seems that he was eventually able to make an identity for himself and Luke
Eso es
Carley
verdad.
as well. After I found his daughter's body, I interrogated him for a bit. When I told him we were going to do an autopsy on her body, I remember him looking relieved and tired.
Hombre, después de 14 años que hayas encontrado el cuerpo de tu hija, pues hombre.
She planned a string of murders all in order to restore the Clarksons to their former glory, right?
Yeah. Matches up with the files, too.
But the only proof of that is the confession she privately gave to Morgan just before she died. Galena Clarkson was also murdered immediately after she confessed. Don't you think it's all a little too convenient?
Pues no.
Well, story-wise, yeah.
Perdonar, ¿eh?
And the sacrifices. None of the FBI's official records contain an example of an actual human sacrifice. Aside from the cases that Francis Zach Morgan handled, that is.
There are tons of examples of animal sacrifice, though. And remember the witch hunts
Sí,
back
pero
in the
no es lo
Middle
mismo
Ages?
animales que personas, Simon.
Meaning?
Meaning, there are always exceptions to the
Bueno, es
rule.
verdad.
And Morgan alluded to the existence of some sort of journal, right? I think he said he read it in Professor R's lab. If we could find that, maybe this would all become easier to swallow.
The report didn't mention anything about a journal. And if it truly did exist, it surely would have been submitted as evidence. Unless he tried to cover it up on purpose. Or...
Unless the journal never existed in the first place.
Exactly.
Bueno, puede ser, pero sí existió. Y ya nos queda uno, ¿no?
He was taught how to rule as a child, never confided in anyone, and married for purely political reasons.
Por eso no se sabe quién es la madre.
Then he prospered so much that he became powerful enough to rule an entire town on his own. But in the end, his own child betrayed him and ended his entire clan in a series of violent deaths. If that was your life?
Yeah. Beats me. I wasn't born into a rich family, nor was I ever taught how to rule.
Eso es verdad. Yo
And for
tampoco.
what it's worth, I've also never knocked up a young ex-actress. But I guess the one thing we can say is that any good life needs balance. Get too hung up on one thing and you lose sight of everything else. And if you betray someone, someone thinks they can step all over people and then live out the rest of their life in peace, they're fooling themselves. We always get to see how those people end up in our line of work. In the end, they die horrible deaths. That is why pizza is the only thing I trust.
Eso es verdad, la pizza nunca te
never
traiciona.
betrays you.
Y encima está muy buena.
This case
Mira, lo
took
mismo
place
hoy
in
me
Blue
doy
Collar.
un No, hoy no, que tengo
Centered around
hamburguesa,
the
que me compré
Clarksons.
esta mañana hamburguesitas caseras.
Pressed,
Para
but there's
hacerme.
one truth. It all started
Sabía que se me
with the
olvidaba
death
algo
of a
comprar.
young
El
girl.
bacon, ¿lo veis? Es que al final se me olvidan las cosas. Vamos a ver a la lista.
Everyone thinks that the principal thing to the tree is the fruit. But in point of fact, now I know why Lise Clarkson was murdered. Lisa's death was Professor R having second thoughts. According to Morgan, her plan was to perform parricide and filicide, then
Suicide.
commit suicide. Those were the 3 deaths necessary to complete the which means she technically could have killed Patricia first. That would have been the best way to delay any interference from the Clarksons themselves. The reason she didn't kill Patricia first is because Lena was actually following a different plan inside her own mind. Or perhaps she merely changed her plan as she followed
Puede
through
ser.
with it. At some point, new emotions started to take root within her. She had second thoughts about something. And in order to shake those off, she used Galena to kill Lise first, in order to cut off any possible escape. But that only made her plan move ahead quicker than she could have ever imagined,
Exactamente.
which forced her to rush right up to the end with those misgivings always in the back of her mind.
Huh? Wait, hold on. Yeah, you lost me. What are you talking about?
Yo tampoco.
In other words, at some point, Helena Doman decided that she wanted to make Patricia the next heir. The blood purge wasn't for the goddess of fertility. It was for their daughter, Patricia.
Wait,
¿Cómo?
are you saying Helena knew from the start that Sheriff Woods would die with Candy?
That's the only explanation.
Entonces,
Remember, this is only assuming that everything Morgan told us was true.
entonces merging todo lo que has visto del croquis puede que se cambie.
Until I can trust that man, this is all nothing more than conjecture.
Considering how insane this all is, it sounds perfectly believable to me.
Porque ahora hay un giro dramático de los acontecimientos. Hangan.
Francis Zach Morgan. Remember me? Oh, cat got your tongue. Understood. You know why I'm here, don't you? Surely you must know what this means. To commemorate our reunion, allow me to give you another oracle. The contract, once signed, will last for eternity. But only in the presence of true love. Did you hear that?
Ajá.
Good. It's been a while since I felt this.
You know, there's hardly anyone in this era who can see me like you can. And they've been dropping like flies since you first came to see me. Breaks my heart. We don't have much time. Do you have any questions for me?
Que si está bien la Patty.
Excellent. You pass.
¿Ya?
You haven't changed, Francis that
Pues no
much.
toca ir a por Patty.
But that question isn't for me to answer. Go and see it with your own eyes. Oh, time's up.
It's time.
We'll have to finish this during our next reunion.
Jue, 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 jue. No entiendo.
Oh, this is bad.
Captura fallida. El objetivo ha escapado con la rehén. Paradero
Agent
desconocido.
Jones, what is this referring to?
Avery Smith kidnapped Patricia Clarkson and escaped.
Avery Smith? The vault manager? Why would he kidnap Patricia? Tell me what's going on right now. Answer me, Jones.
I made a deal with Morgan
Emily está por ahí rondando. Hola,
back when
Emily.
he took me to the bathroom.
What?
Morgan said something to me. If we want to find Patricia, we need to look at Avery Smith.
Have you lost your mind?
What he said made sense.
Pues sí.
Ever since 2005, Avery's been working deep inside that cold storage warehouse. He was also arrested in the past for getting too friendly with Lise Clarkson. And after Katrina, he apparently worked on renovating the warehouse for free. What if that allowed him to freely modify the warehouse as he
Es verdad.
pleased? That would explain why her body remained missing for 14 whole years. Then, I did a little check and found out that he never went back to work after.
So what? Why would you trust him?
I don't. I just decided it was worth investigating, that's all. So, I sent 2 agents to Avery's house without telling anyone. I just called in a favor from an old friend in the New Orleans branch.
No one gave you clearance for that. You.
But what if Morgan's telling the truth? If he
Es verdad.
is, we're both gonna look like total clowns. Clowns who went barging into a former agent's house on completely unfounded suspicions. HQ will have a field day with us. They'll string us up as the 2 dumbest agents to have ever graced the field. I just wanted to take some precautions. And besides, if he is lying, it's still no skin off our backs, right? If things work out, we'll end up solving a
verdad.
difficult case that's been driving everyone crazy. Imagine that. You and me, just the 2 of us. I'll be able to jump ship on this crappy job. And you'll
Hombre,
be able to
estaría
fully
bien. Hombre, tu
investigate
puesto no está
all
mal,
things San Rouge,
Simon.
just like you've always wanted. Besides, you know that Morgan is Director Abraham's favorite. Even if we get into some sort of trouble, if Morgan testifies to Abraham's for us, we'll totally be in the clear.
I don't care.
Me
This is the
encanta
way
Emily
things
que
are
ronde por
supposed
ahí.
to be done.
Well, I'm sorry, but I had no other choice. You were so engrossed in this, and come on, you know how. Besides, saving the hostage should take priority above all else. There's no time for squabbling. We need to find Avery Smith no matter what it takes.
But how? Thanks to your heroic maneuvers, we just lost our suspect.
No, está en el almacén.
I
Seguro.
know.
I know how to find him. I should be able to see the other world. Just let me...
Morgan?
It's okay, my fairy. I know I can convince them.
Ay.
I found the first one last autumn. A dead rat with a bud coming up out of its stomach, just like this one. A rat ate a red seed, died, and the bud sprouted. Honestly, it shocked me. Up until this point, I'd only ever seen red seeds, so I decided to grow one of my own.
What are you talking about?
I needed to solve the mystery of the red trees. Why do they exist? But all of my sprouts died without ever growing the tiniest bit. Forget about a big tree. I couldn't even grow a single sapling.
Pues se lo tiene que comer una mujer, ya lo aprendiste.
So you kept experimenting.
2 days after the seed enters a rat, it takes the rat's life. On the 3rd day, a bud sprouts up, then grows to that size after 5 more. I tested this on 137 corpses.
In only a few months?
But I was never able to grow a bud, and I still remember what he told me.
You're totally insane.
No, que Aisen te lo dijo. Ya que necesito una mujer.
I'm pretty sure that's why I can see the other world now. I'd lost that sense ever since the Greenvale incident, but it's back now. Please, will you just trust me? Come on, Simon. You'll trust me, won't you?
No, Agent Jones. You can't let him take control of the conversation.
Yeah, I know.
Please, Halia Davis, let me go. This is our case to finish.
Me encanta porque Emily sigue por ahí como...
You aren't an agent anymore.
Como...
But you don't know how to find him. Neither of you ever could.
Oh, I'll find him. I swear on my pride as an active agent that I won't give up until I do.
No lo vais a encontrar.
That won't get you anywhere.
Exactamente.
It's beyond you.
Shut up. You think we can't find him, but you can.
Por supuesto. Porque está en el
Just
otro
how
mundo.
stupid do you think we are? If you want us to believe you, then it's about time.
Hey, Belle. Your hypothesis was pretty much on the mark.
Correcto.
Last week, I went back to Lucare. Then I bought a used car and got on a train in Trenton. But not for the reason you think. I wasn't stalking Patricia. And I'd never try to kidnap her.
Then why would you go there? Why would you risk so much, especially since you knew that you were under surveillance?
Because, once again, I'm
Saint
chasing
Rouge.
Saint Rouge.
Saint Rouge?
Even after I quit the FBI, I continued to study the red trees on my own. And now, I've come to the conclusion that those red seeds and Saint Rouge
Correcto.
both. I also found proof that someone's inherited the original recipe. That's why I flew to Lucare, to confirm my suspicions. But I was more powerless than I ever could have imagined. I couldn't move like I used to. No back. So, after wandering aimlessly around town...
You expect me to believe that?
I know you've got it in you.
What's that supposed to mean?
You found Lise Clarkson's body. The one thing I never did. And only a few days after discovering the body, you should be fully capable of discerning that what I'm telling you is the truth.
Talking much about oneself can also be a means to conceal oneself. You can't trick me.
Ajá. ¿Y ahora qué? Pues solo me queda esto.
You said that she was the mastermind behind the tragedies in Lucare.
Lucare.
That her convictions about the Clarkson bloodline are what started it all.
Yes, that's right.
She instigated her younger sister into killing her own niece. Then she committed suicide immediately after killing her father, hoping that Sheriff Woods would be able to complete her plan.
Correcto.
How could one call such an unpredictable series of events And as we saw, Sheriff Woods chose a fate that was completely different.
No, he didn't.
¿Tú crees?
In the end, things went exactly as she planned.
What do you mean?
At a certain point, she realized that her plan was wrong, so she tried to adjust things, using me as a pawn. But then,
Correcto.
the unexpected happened. She and I both underestimated what Avery was capable of. That's why I'm here right now trying to convince you. In order to save Patricia's life.
La tiene Avery. De hecho, si recordáis, Avery...
If your story is true,
se confundió y pensaba que ella era Lise.
then why did Avery Smith
Patrick.
kidnap Patricia?
Patricia resembles Lise.
Correcto.
I even got them confused once. And
Correcto.
Lise reported being stalked by a 10-foot man.
That's Avery Smith?
Exactly.
But he's only 6'7" at best.
Con
His
droga,
physical
no.
characteristics don't match the person you're talking about.
I once concluded the very same thing, but now I know. That was he protected Lisa's body for the past 4 until you discovered his sleeping beauty.
So after losing Lisa's body, he kidnapped Patricia as a replacement?
Correcto.
That's ridiculous. Is that really what you think happened? Even if Avery did possess that sort of mentality, it doesn't make sense.
¿Por qué no?
If Lise was really that important to him, he would have tried to steal her back. Not now, maybe. But certainly after she was buried.
No, por eso no
Would
se la
you
quiso
be
llevar.
able to go on worshipping a goddess who had been defiled by so many hands? That ice was a barrier,
Correcto.
a shield that separated the divine from our world.
La quería pura y casta como... de Chien
You
Rouge.
said that someone inherited the Sang Rouge recipe. Is that someone Avery Smith?
It has to be. Avery used to help Professor R do research in secret.
Que de hecho, si os acordáis, en el capítulo cuando quisimos entrar al laboratorio de ella, dijo, aquí no vais a estar.
What? Well, that wasn't in the report.
I only realized it just now. Avery revealed that he was helping with some sort of research. But at the time, I let his
Correcto.
confession go in one ear and out the other. Now that I look back on it, I realize it was solid proof that he was helping her produce Sang Rouge.
What makes you think that?
He had free access to the deepest parts of the cold storage warehouse.
Sang Rouge needs to be produced in an extremely cold
Correcto.
Exactly.
environment.
Correcto.
Leah Davis. That's why you investigated the cold storage warehouse as soon as you got to Lucare, in order to locate where Sang Rouge was being made. Then, you came across Lisa's body by...
El
Who do
caso
you
Le
think
Carré.
benefited most from the Greenvale case?
Nobody.
No one. Many lives were lost.
Es verdad.
You really believe that?
Sí.
Everyone who survived was overcome with sadness.
Without exception?
Isn't that right, my fairy?
I feel like you're the one person who benefited from the case.
No.
You were able to add a new chapter to your stunning career and earned unshakable trust from the chief. That's what allows you to
Pero
go on
perdió
using his
al
intel network as
posiblemente
you
amor de
please,
su vida, que era
even
Emily, que
though
ahora
you're
es su hada.
retired.
Are you seriously? Sickness is destroying my body. Yet, somehow, I'm unable to forget the case, whittling down what's left of my life, chasing them. You really think I'm doing all this? Is that really what you're saying?
Sí. Fotografía de Melvin.
Melvin wasn't the Fool King.
What?
No.
Many different characters pop up in Lena's journal, and I mistook one of them for someone else.
What are you talking about?
After Simon hit me and I fainted, I had a dream. Now I'm convinced. I'm the Fool King. The Fool King was always meant to be an outsider who suddenly arrived in Lucare.
Mira, esto sí que es
And
un
the
giro.
man she felt a need to eliminate wasn't me, but Avery. Lena realized her plan was on the verge of falling apart. She also guessed that I would be able to save Patricia from Melvin. The one worry that remained in her heart was leaving Patricia behind, and how her life would play out from that point. Especially since she would be left behind with Avery, a large, childlike man who's beyond anyone. She wrote that journal entry hoping that I, the Fool King, would be capable of stopping Avery. And she wrote it in a specific way in order to try and rouse me to action. Lena and Melvin both entrusted me with their daughter, so please, just let me go. It's my...
Es verdad. Y
I
Shelta, por
understand
favor. Oh,
what
dime
you're
que ya
trying to
terminamos
say.
del interrogatorio.
But it's too perfect. It's too perfect, just like that report of yours. How could you come to such a detailed conclusion after spending years shut up in this room? It doesn't make sense. The only possible explanation is that you're bending the narrative in the direct...
Why do you think I left the field for 2 years after Greenvale? That case cost me not only my best friend, but also my special talent. I never thought I'd lose something like that. But ever since then, I've been unable to solve cases using that method.
Metaphysical offender profiling.
I tried everything I could think of to regain my lost talent, but it never came back to me. That's why I quit working for the FBI, and without anywhere else to go, I simply spent my days seeking
O sea, que no es porque esté
truth,
enfermo, sino
searching
porque
for an
perdió
answer
todo
I'd
en
never find.
Greenvale.
So, time continued to cruelly pass me by. I thought it was all over for me. But about half a year ago, everything started
Sí.
with the red seeds. He and I encountered these seeds long before we reached Greenvale, under the seething, mind-melting sun of Louisiana.
Correcto.
Then, for some reason, in the beginning of December, I finally regained my talent, and instantly, I could see the other world again. Get it? Through allowing the cancer cells to ravage my body, I regained this is the only answer, Aaliyah Davis. Truth is a surprise, born from coincidence and an unknown power.
Joder, pues no hemos terminado,
She was
¿eh?
the first perpetrator in the case. And technically, she was also the first victim. Maybe... Well, it's impossible to ask her now, but... Maybe she really did love her and so... She was afraid. Afraid of what would happen if her daughter did end up inheriting the Clarkson estate. It was fear. Or something like it. That's what lit the red tree inside.
That's still no reason to kill someone,
¿O sí?
especially not your own daughter.
I know. Of course I know that. And I'm sure that deep down, she did too.
A ver, Melvin y Candy.
I made a promise with Melvin. He entrusted me with Patricia. All he had left.
But immediately after you solved the case, you sent her to the Clarksons and left town. Isn't that right? You let go of her a long time ago, so you have no right to step back into the picture.
That was the wrong thing to do. I was young, but now I have the
Hombre.
chance to right my wrong.
You can't be serious.
No.
You can barely stand up.
Hey, Aaliyah.
I know, Agent Jones. I know I'm stepping over the line here. I just want to make it clear that we can't trust a word of what he says.
A ver.
Two
Cosas que
bizarre
pasan.
cases derailed your life. It must have been extremely painful. You have my deepest condolences, but that doesn't put you in the clear. You're still a suspect.
A suspect?
¿De qué?
For what? Patricia isn't here.
The murders of Sheriff Melvin Woods and Candy Woods. Their bodies were never recovered.
No es culpa
Katrina
tuya.
carried them away.
Aside from that report you wrote, there's nothing that proves you're
Bueno.
innocent.
Hey, let's not jump to conclusions.
Oh, I'm not. I also suspect there's a possibility that he murdered individuals.
Pero-
The Greenvale report bears the same inconsistencies as this one.
Yo no maté a nadie. Bueno, sí, maté a Galena. No, o sea, maté a... No, bueno, claro, ya se ha suicidado, ¿no? ¿Para quién maté yo? De muertes, solo he matado a George en el 1. Y a Thomas, creo.
And both cases are filled with victims whose deaths were never...
Stop. Don't say another word. If you so much as mention her name,
If I mention...
you will pay.
Emily. My fury.
Bell. No. Special Agent Aaliyah Davis. You're exceptionally talented, I admit it. You found Lisa's body, then discovered the red seeds all on your own. You even noticed that there was someone else in this room. You've got amazing intuition. You're a hunter with an extremely keen sense of smell, but you still can't perceive the other world. That's all there is to it. Simon, look inside that trash can.
Huh? The trash can?
It's right behind you. Then you'll know for sure that I'm telling the truth. We told you not to touch the sanctuary!
What is this?
FK. Forest Casement.
What's on that receipt? What is it, Agent Jones?
Forest Casement.
FK.
Contact a local agent and have them investigate Avery Smith's home. There are still agents investigating the Lucare area. Trust me. That's where Patricia Clarkson is.
Trust you? Where's your...
Ask Aaliyah Davis. Ask her about the name of the person who tipped her off.
What do you mean?
You're from Chicago, especially deep dish pizza, smothered in cheese. Just ask her, and ask her why she decided to take this case in the... Got it? Pizza will never betray you. So you need to trust it, too.
But how could you have known that I would come here with her?
I didn't. I just bet on you.
God damn it.
Hey! Tell me what's going on right now, Agent Jones.
Thank you, my fairy. Car key, Simon.
Let me go.
Don't worry. Just trust in the pizza. I'm the anonymous tipper. FK.
It's on the corner of 3rd Street. A 69 Pontiac GTO.
You've got excellent taste. Lend me your gun, too.
Agent Jones! Don't you see what you're doing here? This is a severe obstruction of justice. You're violating the FBI code.
Yeah, Aaliyah, I know, but pizza will never betray me.
Pizza?
Tell Abrahams to prepare a private jet for me at the airport. I know Robert won't turn his back on me.
Wait, Morgan, are you serious? The chief would never lend out a private jet to a civilian like
I have to leave you for a bit, my fairy. They'll be
Mira,
fine.
Emily.
They'll figure it all out.
Emily. Qué guapa es Emily. De verdad. Echo de menos al personaje de Emily. Emily era muy buena.
Can you hear me? I'm going to go finish the job you started. That makes us even, okay? York, she really is a genius agent. She's probably going to end up being an even better agent than we were. She just needs more experience under her belt. She's still only pursuing the world she can see with her naked eye. She needs to experience more frustration. She needs to strengthen herself. On the other hand, Simon's much smarter than he looks. No wonder he was able to go on watching us for 4.5 years. All that struggling under the surface paid off in the end. Do you want to know why he decided to start trusting me? It's simple. It's all because of the name I used to send the tip to the FBI. It's the name of that pizza parlor, the Chicago-style place with those trademarked crimson boxes. Franklin's Kitchen. FK. Yet again. They've got the best deep dish pizza in the area. Both Simon and I love that place. That's why I told him, pizza will never betray you. Will it, York?
Pues bueno, pues cositas. A ver, que estoy doblando una carta. Bueno. Licorice. Vamos para allá. Ay. Bueno, vamos a coger balas y cosas así porque se viene el enfrentamiento bueno. Así que...
York, let's finish. I'll be there soon. Watch my back, will you? This is going to be my final battle.
No tengo emote que explote mi cabeza. Bueno, lo sé, no te preocupes.
So I'm this far gone, huh? But unlike 14 years ago, I feel more at home in this world now.
Vamos a empezar. Vale, vamos a guardar todo primero, ¿vale? Vale, ok, vamos a ordenar. Y ahora esto. A ver, 1, 2, 3, 4 5. Espérate. Espera, voy a meterme los dos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, por si acaso. Necesito 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Voy a necesitar... Joder, es que no sé qué llevarme. No sé qué llevarme. Esperad. Estoy de dudas, ¿eh? Uno, 2, 3. Me voy a llevar 9 y esto. Me voy a llevar 7 y 3. Y me voy a llevar 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 3. Voy a llevarme 2 de estas. Voy a llevarme una y una. Vamos a guardar. Vale. Y vamos para adentro. Vamos para adentris.
Este es mi canal, soy